The mountain lakes, located in Nepal and Bhutan, are swelling from the overflow of melting glaciers. In merely 5 years, the glaciers can burst from their seams and destroy a multitude of Himalayan villages. It is predicted that in the next half-decade, intense flooding will occur in the Himalayan region as water from glaciers and snowfields enter the water system. Lives of thousands of people are in danger because the risk of flooding is imminent. The mud walls of lakes are collapsing because of the extra water from glaciers and monsoons. The Kalahoi Glacier, known as the Goddess of Light, is impacting the lives of thousands of people who depend on it for life. The glacier is receding at a rate of 10 feet per year. The Kashmir region has been disputed over for years by Pakistan and India. It is the home of thousands of glaciers. Most of the lakes in the valleys of the glaciers are melting continuously. The Bhutan Himalayan Glacier is an example of this. The receding Gangotri Glacier will cause floods so severe because of the melting water and increased rainfall of future monsoons. Gane is a local who lives in the village of Aru in India. He spent his youth listening to gunfire perpetuated by the war taking place over the disputed Kashmir region. Before 2002, scientists had only the option of gathering glacial data by satellites. As the bloody war over Kashmir ends, glaciologists return to the disputed Kashmir region to measure the retreating glaciers in the Ladakh Valley. Gane was hired by the group Terry to help with the glacial expeditions to Kalahoi, an area in the Ladakh Valley. On the second day of the expedition, a group of 2 glaciologists, 3 journalists, and 24 mountain guides dug snow pits on the accumulation zone on top of the Kalahoi Glacier. Gane and his team members played a vital role collecting glacial data on the lower portions where the ice is melting. They drilled a series of holes into the ice and took pre-measured sticks and placed them in the holes of the glacial ice. The length of the poles will be measured after each cycle of melting. This data will inform the team about the volume of the glacier and how much it has changed. This cutting, drilling, and collecting of data takes place at heights of 13,000 feet, where severe injury and death is a real possibility. The Rocky Mountains and Alps cannot be excluded from the Himalayas in regards to collecting glacial data from the ice. This is the only way to make predictions about global climate change. A monitoring station was built on the Ladakh Valley in order to test the flow of meltwater retreating from the glacier. The monitoring station was built on the West Ladakh River, one of the biggest rivers in the Kashmir region. Seasonal runoff from the Himalayan glaciers is decreasing by 40% due to the global climate change. The reduction in runoff is devastating villages and millions of locals who depend on the glacial runoff for agriculture and survival. The nomadic Bakarwals bring their sheep to the valley to graze, and the water disturbances have prevented them from doing this. The global warming phenomenon is known to contribute to the glacial melting. The transportation systems in India pollute the rivers. The transportation of diesel engines contributes to this pollution. The rapid urbanization, exploitation, and destruction of forests and expansion of agriculture causes land degradation and resource depletion in the Kashmir region. Glacial ice is the most important indicator of global climate change. Vertical cores taken from the ice sheets provide us with a record of changing air temperature and snowfall rates. Samples are collected using a drilling rig, during which the ice cores are extracted. Ice bubbles trapped in the ice give us information about changes in carbon dioxide and methane amounts. The increased carbon dioxide in the atmosphere will lead to climate changes that will vary around the world. The temperature rise will probably be the smallest in the tropics and increase toward the poles. Some expected effects of global warming include more hot days, less cold days, more intense precipitation, increased summer drying and drought, sea level rise, loss of sea ice, melting glaciers, and many unknown surprises. Global warming is an international and global problem. Countries need to stop emitting greenhouse gases, and we need to stabilize the GHG concentrations in the atmosphere. We need to create improvements in energy efficiency and vehicle fuel economy so that less energy will need to be produced. We need to create more technology geared toward wind and solar power, renewable hydrogen resources, biofuels produced from crops, natural gas, and nuclear power. There is also a potential to capture carbon dioxide emitted from fossil fuels and store it underground. This process is called carbon sequestration. And finally, increasing forest lands and making changes to the way we farm could increase the amount of carbon we store.